But the 200 will be tricky because there's the same three Jamaicans that we mentioned before with Fraser-Pryce, Thompson, Hurrah, Shrika Jackson, Dina Asher-Smith coming off the gold. Gabby Thomas ran that 21.6 at the trials. Jenna Prandini ran 21.89 at the trials. Toulouse there as well. So this, to me, really, there's a lot of question marks here based on who runs, also who looks good in the 100 coming back. Fraser-Pryce has run really well in this race. But in Monaco, she lost to Miller-Uibo and Toulouse. But Shrika Jackson beat Miller-Uibo in Hungary. So everybody's kind of got a loss this year or something on their resume that makes you think, hey, they're beatable. Asher-Smith is 2-0 this year, but didn't race the 200 as much. Gabby Thomas hasn't raced since the trial, so we don't know what she's done since that 21.6. There's a lot of questions. This one's pretty fun in terms of just trying to sort out who the podium would be. You could come up with a bunch of different combinations, I think.
Yeah, and I talked about this with Lincoln 2 or 3 weeks ago. The big change here is you have the favorite, which is Gabby Thomas, who's run sub 22 multiple times, but she hasn't raced against these Jamaicans, the Blessings, the Shaunae Miller-Uibos, really any at all this season. So is she going to be able to replicate the trials just in a different location? And if she does that, I think she would win. But the question is, you don't know the way the track's going to go. You don't know how the other athletes, what lane draw she's going to get. And just there's a lot of other factors that she just hasn't been exposed to. And you can't just say, these are my times, so this is what I run, game over. And I mean, like Miller-Uibo here lost to, is that Shrika that she lost to?
Shrika Jackson.
Yeah, Shrika Jackson. Yeah. So they're just, everyone is beating everyone back and forth. And then you have the Gabby Thomas factor, who has won everything, but she hasn't beaten anyone except for Americans. So you have to think, what is Gabby Thomas's, what's she going to do when she actually is faced with the Jamaican contingent and Shaunae Miller-Uibo and Blessing? So we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Is there a reason you don't have Fraser-Pryce in the top 10? Did I miss something?
Yeah.
What's the reason?
I think she's going to pull out. I think also.
You don't think she's going to run? Okay.
Yeah,
but if she ran, I mean, she's having just like, because her 100 is so good, it's obscuring how good the 200s. I mean, she won the Jamaican trials. She's run 21.79.
Yeah, but she's only run that 21.79 is like a one-off. Look at the rest of her results.
Well, I know,
everything is like 22.
Yeah, but she
has one fast. That 1 to 200 is a flash in the pan type 200. So that's why.
Okay. Well, if she's in that race, she's making the final. I think that's pretty obvious. I mean, she hasn't run that many 200s. She ran one in Kingston, or a couple in Kingston. She has 5.
And only one of them is
the championship. Well, running third to Miller-Uibo and Toulouse is nothing to sneeze at. She's going to be top 8. I mean, if she decides to run it, and she's entered, so I think she will go for it. I mean, Asher-Smith at 10. I mean, I think she'll do better than that, obviously, if she gets in there. I think you have the Americans really high in here. 1, 2, and 5 in here based on their spectacular times at the trials. But if you're looking at head-to-head and you're looking at victories this year and who's actually competed internationally, I think you'd put the Jamaicans higher up. You'd put Miller-Uibo higher up. I just wonder, I know Miller-Uibo's talked about focusing on the 200 this year. How much comes out of her legs in day 5 if she has to run a 400 round in the morning and then come back and run a 200 final? Is it 1%? Is it like 5%? Is it 0.5%? Like what? At that level, she's going to jog like a 52 and qualify, or a 51.5. Does that impact her 200-meter performance at all that night? I would say minimally.
Yeah. I think it is a thing. And I think that's one advantage that Gabby Thomas is going to have. She'll be the freshest athlete on that track because Everyone else will either be in the 100 or Shaunae Miller-Uibo will be coming off a 400 prelim. So that is going to be a little bit of a factor in my opinion. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it is a little bit of a slight edge to Gabby Thomas. I I just think the 200 also sometimes gets weird. You know this. I
It
mean,
does. It
look
does.
at
Yeah.
the men's 200 from 2017 when Guliev won, or was it 20?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like everyone. You had all these people, the Colemans, the Gatlins, the Bolts of this world, all there, and then all of a sudden Guliev is winning because everyone else is kind of like second, not putting. They're like, the 200, I'm done.
Van
You
Niekerk was
know?
gassed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Shelly-Ann could just win the 100 and then be like, all right, I'm done. I
Mhm.
won. You know.
But on the flip side of that, Thompson Hurrah, if she gets second in the 100, she can be really motivated, and we've seen how good she can be in major championship 200s. I think I put the U.S. medal odds. I obviously agree that they're going to be better than the 100 odds. That's obvious, but I still put it at, I put it way lower than you are forecasting. I put it 25% just because three Jamaicans, Miller-Uibo, Asher Smith, that's a solid five right there. And then you throw in Toulouse, etc. There's a lot of women there who are experienced and have run, sub 22, and I would feel better about it if we saw more performances from the Americans post trials, but we didn't,
Yeah.
which could be
We
smart.
didn't.
It could be
Yeah.
smart. It could be smart. But yes, if Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is in the 200, she's obviously getting to the final. And at the very, I know she's. I'm not going to say she'd be a lock for a medal, but I think she'd be top five at the very least. Sharika
So,
Jackson is an interesting person. People in America, we're all interested in the Fred Curley going from the 400 down to the 100. Look at Sharika Jackson's career. She's like a 400-meter runner up until this year, and she ran some 400s this year too, but then just morphs into this 200-meter star and gives Jamaica another person in that event. Her story is really interesting. She also made the transition to the shorter distances seem effortless. Very impressive year for her.
yeah. So before we move on to the next event, all right. So who will have faster times? The one, who will run faster? Well, if you were to take Sha'Carri Richardson's Prefontaine times that she's going to run, it's fast track in
Mhm.
mid-August after the Olympics, and put them into these 100-meter and 200-meter final, what place do you think Sha'Carri Richardson would finish? Like the
I haven't done.
ghosts of Sha'Carri Richardson, where she landed
Is Shelly-Ann
in both
Fraser-Pryce in
events.
those races? Who's in the races at Pre with her?
Everyone,
Is it
no, everyone's in. I'm just. Where do you think Sha'Carri Richardson's going to finish if she were running and she didn't get popped for doing something that everyone does?
um wait, where do you think she'd finish in the Olympics, or where do I think she'd
In the
finish with her
Olympics.
Prefontaine times?
Well,
Oh,
I'm
okay,
just
okay,
trying to
okay.
turn it into a
I
thing.
would
The
pick
Olympics.
her. Okay, so if that didn't happen, I would still have Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce as the favorite because of the 1063, because of the history, and then I would have Richardson 2 and Thompson Hurrah 3 in the 100. That's how I would pick them.
And then if she was running the 200, would you put her in the 200?
Well, she didn't run the 200 at the trials, so that
True.
one's harder to figure out. But I probably would have her in the second to fourth range there. That was a lot easier question than you set it up. You're like, hypothetically, in
I know.
August, she's at the Prefontaine Classic. She got a good night's sleep. She's there. There's three other women in there, and the wind is plus 1.7. What does she run? It just was confusing. Here's the so put these times up. This is interesting. We could put this one up. So this is the history of the 200 in this event. So you look at the previous winning times: 2178, 2188, 2174, 2205. So the last three champions have been well under 22 seconds. Give you an idea of what it's going to take to get that win. And Fraser-Pryce, she's got experience in the 200 too. Don't just think of her as a 100-meter runner. All right, let's go